Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United beat Villareal 2-0 and do not end up in a questionable position where they might end up in the Europa League. For me, that is the big positive. Manchester United into the Champions League. And also, from another positive point of view, Michael Carrick as interim coach, you've got to say, you know, it's nice for him to win that game for Manchester United and nice for Manchester United to win a game full stop. But what I will say is that, you know, it's very easy to remember the last 10 minutes when we're getting chance after chance after chance and everyone's like, oh, this is great, and Sancho gets his first goal. Player ratings, links in the video description, mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. I'll choose to look at up until the Ronaldo goal where we're absolutely crap. And if it wasn't for David De Gea, we'd be probably 2-0 down. So, look, football's a funny old game. That reminded me, and I'm very happy because if we'd lost that game, I think we were heading towards the Europa League. So, look, take a deep breath and take it. We're not going to get away with playing like that against Chelsea. It was very similar to Solskjaer. Solskjaer could win games like that. We beat Atalanta, we beat Villareal with Solskjaer, and I think that reminded me of Solskjaer, really. A crap performance with about 10 minutes of good play where a team opens up and we hurt them. Like, United are a reactive counter-attacking team. We've played for a draw there. They've made a mistake. Ronaldo scored, and then they've had to open up, and then we've hit them on the break. And United are a good team when a team attacks them and leaves space at the back. But when we play an organised team, you get what happened in the first 70 minutes. That was a paper in the cracks performance if you think that there was anything positive about that in relation to our future. The future cannot be those coaches. I mean, you saw when Ronaldo scored, McKenna was having a fit. He was like, fuck off, get in, this, that, and the other. Like, what you doing? You're like, I thought he was going to run up to Harry Maguire and start going like that. Like, you're the reason Ollie lost his job, mate. You, Phelan and Carrick shouldn't be there. I agree with Scholesy. It's an embarrassment that they're still at the club. They're a massive part. A manager got sacked on Sunday, and then they're running around like, you know, like they pulled off a tactical masterclass. It wasn't a tactical masterclass. It was a mistake, and Ronaldo scored, and then we scored a really good team goal because they've had to go for us. David De Gea saved 2 amazing saves that if they score one of those, we're in big trouble. So, fine margins, paper in the cracks, whatever you want to call it. But the main thing is we won. And these, I nearly called them something there. These coaches will not be here by the time we play in February. So forget about them. Think about the result. And the positive is we've won. What we need the club to do is get a bloody new coach. Because watching that game for 70 minutes, it's the same players with the same lack of confidence, with the same crap midfield. We desperately need a change of scenery. That team is just absolutely dead on its feet most of the time. The only time it comes alive is when a team opens up and leaves a space like Villareal did. Against an organised team, we're in big trouble. And we know we're playing one of the most organised teams in the league on Sunday, but that's about that. The main thing is that we won and we get through. I mean, I'd have taken a draw. The main thing is that we go through to the next stage of the Champions League, and against young boys, we're through. So that's absolutely sorted. The scary thing is that Ed Woodward and the Glazers, who know nothing about football, probably see that and go, "Ooh, we might be all right till the summer." God, no. No. We will not be all right till Christmas. This setup is crap. The football is crap. Like, we are rubbish at football under these coaches. The only time we come alive is when a team goes for us. Well, they're not going to do that at 0-0. So, you know, if we can go 1-0 up, we become a good team because a team opens up. But we very rarely go 1-0 up because at 0-0 it's level, and they normally go 1-0 up, and then we go 2-0 down, 3-0 down. When we're 1-0 up, we're a good team because we can hit teams on the break. But when in 75% of the game, that doesn't happen. So we've got to make a change. United desperately need to be making these phone calls over the next 48 hours. And if they do, and if we get Pochettino in by Saturday, then everybody's happy. But I think at the moment, the fan base, including myself, just slightly on tenterhooks because I'm panicking. I'm panicking that the board is so shit, they'll go, let's stick with this for the summer. And I tell you what, that was a hard watch. The last 15 minutes was good, and the Sancho goal is brilliant. But the rest of the game was a really hard watch, and it was like watching what we've watched for the last year. And I tell you what, I will say as well, that McTominay and Fred midfield is going to cause the new manager massive problems. Unless he can turn them into footballers, it's a massive problem. Every team is dominating our midfield. And I also feel sorry for Donny, because Donny van der Beek was man of the match at the weekend when he came on at half-time and played in McTominay's role. He then starts the game today in the number 10 role, which is a dead role when you're playing in a game like that. And then he gets subbed off for Bruno, and McTominay and Fred play the whole bloody game. And I thought, this is Donny van der Beek's career is just so unfortunate. It's a career ender. He's man of the match in the midfield, and he has to play at 10 in a team that's parking the bus. And then Bruno comes on for him. We get a lucky goal from Ronaldo, and then suddenly Bruno's got the freedom of the city. When Bruno played really, really well, but he's got loads of space because we're hitting him on the break. So I felt sorry for Donny, because Sancho didn't get a lot of the ball in the first half, but did okay when he got it. Second half, when he got the ball in the second half, he was really, really good. But I felt sorry for Donny, because McTominay was absolutely useless again. Fred wasn't much better. And that's where Donny should be playing. Donny earned the right to play in McTominay's role for the performance he put in against Watford. Gets put in the number 10 role, and it just didn't work. Donny needs to play where McTominay is playing, and McTominay needs to go on a long break on the bench, because if Carrick and McKenna and everyone love McTominay, they can have a big old chat with him for 90 minutes, and we can have a proper midfield, because that midfield is rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish, and it worries me about the next manager, because the next manager cannot magic up a midfield. He's going to have to build a midfield out of McTominay, Fred, a past it Matic and Donny, and Pogba's not about. So that midfield does worry me, and it's going to be a problem every game. We're never going to get any momentum, not under this coaching setup, but we're never going to. I don't think, just as a predictor, I don't think we're going to get any momentum, even if we get Poch in with that midfield. It's like I said it during the game. We're Goldilocks FC, too hot. This porridge is too hot. Manchester United. This forward line's got too many attackers. Too cold. This porridge is too cold. This Manchester United midfield hasn't got enough midfielders. And just right. This porridge is just right. This Manchester United defence is just right. We've got the right balance. We've got just right balance in defence. We've got too many attackers, and we've got not enough good quality midfielders. And I think this is going to be a problem until we can sort it out. If Van der Beek did what Fred did in the last 10 minutes, you wouldn't stop going on about it, says Tom Hartley. And Valverde to United, says Aditya. And as much as I want to change and we're professional tonight, clean sheet Sancho was good, substitutions were good. Remember, we've been awful, so good results, says David Miller. I disagree with you, David. I'm really happy with the result. Very happy with the result. Sancho will only get better. I've seen him play at Dortmund, says Addy. I just want to say that as well. Jadon Sancho, I mean, look, one thing about tonight, put him on the right wing and play him for 90 minutes. We spent £74 million on a right winger, and he should be playing on the right wing 90 minutes. It's one of the first times he's done it, and he played really, really well. You're right. We've got to just keep picking Jadon Sancho on the right every single game, and he will get better and better. He's going to be a player that adapts by playing games. This midfield will get exposed against Chelsea. They cannot take over for a whole game. It's still Moments FC. I mean, Jacob, I don't think Fred was terrible tonight. I thought McTominay was dreadful. I don't think Fred was terrible. And I think Fred got better in the last 15 minutes where, look, the best way to explain that game is this. Villareal had the better coach and the better football team, but they didn't have Ronaldo. Manchester United, and they didn't have De Gea. Manchester United had bad coaches and a bad football team, but they had De Gea and they had Ronaldo. And then in the last 15 minutes, when we'd scored, Villareal had to open up and go for it, and we became a good team because there's so much space. And Fred became a good player in the last 15 minutes because I think Fred is more of a box-to-box player than he is a CDM. But, you know, if Ronaldo doesn't score that goal, we're sat here tonight with a 0-0 draw going, that's very lucky. Ronaldo, I didn't even notice him. So it is a bit of a fine margins result, which is absolutely fine in the Champions League. I've seen Sir Alex do this loads of times. Loads of times. But the problem is, we're not a good team. That's what we do in every game. So, you know, there's massive problems with that team. And the result is what matters. But if you're blinkered by that, then you haven't watched the game. Like, De Gea made 2, maybe 3 brilliant saves. The goal came from a mistake, and then Villareal had to go for it, and it left us space to get the second goal. You earn what you get in football. So I don't want to use the word lucky, But again, it's one of them games that we've won that if we played it 10 times, we probably wouldn't win it, but we did. This let's have a look. David De Gea, man of the match for me tonight. If Villareal went 1-0 up, they would have done a training drill just like City, says Maish. And fair go, Mark. Fred was decent today. Sancho too. Again, though, we were quite horrible for 70 minutes. Simply, Bruno changed the game. You know what, D-Train? I just want to say this. You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. Because it was 0-0 when Bruno and Rashford came on. And it did change the game a bit. And it led to the first goal. But it wasn't tactical by Carrick and McKenna. It was tactical by Emery. And it cost him the game. If you want proper tactics on a football match, let me tell you what happened, right? For 70 minutes, Villareal played a high line and they pushed us all the way back to our own half. When we brought Rashford on, we hit a long ball and Rashford nearly got in. And Emery changed it and he went deep. And he brought Chukwueze on, I think, and he tried to go on the break with them. And we pushed up to the halfway line because they went so deep. And that led to the goal because their keeper had to play out deeper than they were and it led to a mistake. Rashford coming on, they were worried about the ball over the top. So they suddenly went deep and it allowed us to start playing higher up the pitch. So you could give credit to Carrick if you wanted to. I'd actually say Emery probably made a mistake because he was worried about the ball. You know, United were going to go long ball, let's be honest. And he was a bit worried about that lack of pace. But it invited us onto them and we got the goal. So that did happen. Happy with the result, but haven't seen anything different in terms of the way we play. A midfield of Donny and Fred will be better than McFred, says Jayesh. Yeah, I worry about the midfield. I mean, it's tiresome, isn't it? McTominay needs a permanent loan to Sunderland team. He is dreadful. Please hand some P45s out in the morning, says David. If we didn't have Ronaldo or De Gea, we do have Ronaldo and De Gea, though. They are our players. It's why we have them. You don't hear this with any other team, says Jim Jam. Yeah, but Jim Jam, it's not, it's not that simple, is it? Villarreal are, they're not a very big Spanish club. They don't have, massive revenue. Manchester United have massive revenue so they can have Ronaldo and De Gea. The Glazers bought us on debt. We're a massive club with a massive fan base. So what you're basically saying is, oh, tough shit, Villareal. You're a better team than us, but we're better than you because we bought two really good players. You're right. That's basically it. So you're right. You're absolutely right. I just don't think you're understanding why you're right. We have got Ronaldo and De Gea, and that's why we won the game. But we've got Ronaldo and De Gea because we're a rich club who throws money at things and doesn't throw money at good coaching. Whereas Villareal don't have much money and have good coaches and have to do well with what they've got. If Villareal had De Gea and Ronaldo today, they'd have beat us 5-0. They were way better than us. They just didn't have a cutting edge and their keeper made a mistake. We were dreadful, but De Gea kept us in the game. Ronaldo scored a goal, and then when they went for it at the end, we hit them open. That's the story of the game. So you're right, but you probably think you're right for a different reason, if you know what I mean. Sancho with the match-winning performance, a much-needed win to take the confidence into Chelsea game, seeing United sparks again. I'm not, Arad. I'm not. I'll see the sparks again when we actually change the bloody coaching system. I mean, I'm terrified that they will keep these coaches as interim. I mean, as Scholes said before the game, it's an embarrassment that they're even still at the bloody football club. But, hopefully win and then take the get a manager in. But you know what? Man United is so driven by money. Ed Woodward might be like, we'll be all right till the summer. Let's keep Carrick, McKenna and Phelan. And if we do that, I don't think we're going to get top four. And we certainly won't win the Champions League. So it's up to them at the end of the day. What notes did I take from the game? I ticked this. I don't think there is I really want to get this a point across. When we were playing badly, so let's pretend, let's just look for the 70 minutes when we played bloody awful, right? I wrote this down and I wanted to bring it in. The lack of effort is a myth. There is no lack of effort in that football team. Even when we were playing badly for 70 minutes, there is no lack of effort in that football team. They do run around. McTominay and Fred, Maguire and Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, Tellez, Donny, Ronaldo, Sancho, Martial. They run around a lot. They do run around a lot. It's not a lack of effort. Those players are not downing tools and they're not running around for the shirts. They are running around for the shirt. And I was watching it when we were playing badly. The problem is they're just not coached very well. All that running around and efforts, they've got no positional awareness and their ability on the ball. I mean, I don't know what they're doing in training, but they're not confident on the ball. Even in the last 20 minutes, in the last 5 minutes, Rashford's got the ball on the right-hand side. Wan-Bissaka makes the run. It's a simple 10-yard pass, and he passes it 15 yards. You know, he's 5 yards off with the pass, and that happens too much. First half, McTominay intercepts it in the penalty box. There's a pass to Donny van der Beek, and we're going to break away. Instead of passing it 5 metres, he passes it 7 metres. Donny stretches, he gets a yellow card. United are not confident on the ball. Man City, they can play a pass to the centimetre. United can't play it to the metre. We are putting the effort in. The players are putting the effort in, but they're not being coached well enough, and they're not good enough on the ball. And this is why we desperately need a really good coach really fast. And I would say that, you know, if we can't, you know, what Romano was on about before, if we can't get Pochettino in this week, and I think we need to, if we can't get Pochettino in this week, we need to, you know, if it is Valverde as an interim, it's got to be an interim, and it can't be Michael Carrick, and it can't be McKenna, and it can't be Phelan. We've got to get somebody in quick, because we need proper coaching of those players. Definitely. Just on the Sancho goal, by the way, that's probably one of the best goals we've scored in a long time. You know, it was a really good team goal. I think it started with Fred, McTominay, Ronaldo, Rashford, Bruno, Sancho. And look, Villareal are all over the place. They're trying to get back into the game. So, you know, you're going to score goals like that in the last few minutes of a game. But it was really good. It was a really good goal, and I'm really pleased for Sancho, because he's going to be a confidence player. I never thought he was going to get treated like this. I never thought we would spend £74 million on Jadon Sancho and not use him. I mean, we're nearly in December and he's playing his first 90 minutes on the right wing, so that just shows you how he's been misused. But he is a player that was going to take a little bit of time to warm up, but today he looked really good. And, you know, I don't like to use the cliche, but he's like a new signing. The problem is if we'd spent some money on our midfield, if we had a Jorginho at Manchester United who could sit there with like Fred or Donny in front of him, and then Bruno, who can just dictate the play, protect the back four, and get the ball to Sancho. If we were a team that spent most of our game in the final third, Sancho would get better and better and better. The problem with Sancho is, can he build on that confidence when on Sunday we're playing Chelsea and we're not going to attack much? We need to be the Manchester United that attacks a lot, because that's when Sancho gets better and Ronaldo scores more, and Rashford gets better. We're just not getting into the final third enough. That's the problem with Manchester United. But look, that's going to do Sancho the world of good. It really is. Let's do the player ratings. Links in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being your average, and also star your man of the match. Let's go. Right, okay. I'm looking forward to this, actually. So, look, he probably gets forgotten a little bit because people are blind, but he probably gets forgotten a little bit because we go and win the game 2-0. But I remember 2 world-class saves from De Gea and probably 2 or 3 really good saves. So, for me, you know, if he doesn't make one of those saves, we're out. If we go 1-0 down, we don't get back into that game, because that, like somebody said, they'll just do what Man City did. They'll keep the ball and say, you ain't getting through us. So for me, David De Gea was an 8 tonight, and I'm glad to see people putting an 8.2. I'm actually going to give him man of the match. I think it's straight. You know, it's not even up for debate for me. Sancho scored a good goal. He nearly scored another good goal. Ronaldo scored a good goal. He was very quiet for a lot of the game. It's either Sancho, Ronaldo, or De Gea for me. So it's either Sancho or De Gea, and De Gea made 5 really good saves. His distribution was brilliant. De Gea is my man of the match. Wan-Bissaka, I actually thought Wan-Bissaka gets a 6. I heard some people saying he was crap, some people saying he was good. I thought he was okay. I don't really think he did anything wrong, apart from in the first half where the player's nowhere near having a shot. He drops 10 metres and allows a shot. That's really poor positionally, and again, it was a good save by De Gea. So I don't know what he was doing there, but apart from that, I thought he was okay. Again, with Lindelof, I thought he was okay. Average 6. Didn't really notice Lindelof. Yeah, again, Villareal don't have a cutting edge. I think Villarreal's good performances, and I thought Villareal did play well, but I thought Villarreal's good performances came from their, you know, midfield. I don't think it came from their attack. So Lindelof had quite an easy evening, as did Harry Maguire. I mean, I know Maguire's not very popular at the moment, and, you know, as a captain, I'd probably give. I thought he was non-existent as a captain, but his overall performance was probably a 6, so I'd give him a 6. I can understand why people would give him a 5, but I'm not going to mark him down massively. It wasn't. I don't. You know, was he as good as Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka? No, he wasn't. But let's probably cut him some slack and give him a 6, really, for me. He didn't get a red card, exactly. Tellez, I don't think Tellez was that good, I'm actually going to give him a 5. And I like Tellez, but I'm going to be even-handed and say I don't think he was that good. I thought defensively he was all over the place. I thought he had a few good opportunities to put crosses in, and they were very hit and miss. But sometimes you can give someone below average, and it doesn't mean they're crap. I don't think he was crap. I think Tellez is a victim of lack of game time. I mean, he hardly ever plays. Is it any surprising that his positional sense is a bit off? Is it any surprise that he's a bit rusty? He just hasn't played enough first team football. So I wouldn't dwell on Tellez, but I thought he was a little bit below average for me. Fred, I'd probably give Fred a 6.5, but I wouldn't give him, I'm not going to knock a 7. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought for Fred's such a difficult one because, he had a part to play in both goals. And the best thing I can say about Fred is this, and I think people would agree with me. For 20 minutes of that game, I thought he was quite good, but for 70 minutes of the game, I thought he was pretty poor. So it's how do you give somebody a mark on that? Are you going to give him a 7 because he was good for 20 minutes, or are you going to give him a 5 because he wasn't very good for 70 minutes? So for me, I'd probably just give him an average 6. Fred wasn't dreadful. I think he, I think positionally he was out, he wasn't picking up the runners again. He was pressing and missing the press in the first half. But he came alive in the last 10 minutes, definitely. And he had a big part to play in the first goal by pressing high up the pitch. So, if he doesn't press Capoue, we don't score that goal. So, I'd probably give Fred a 6.5. If you've given him a 5, I think that's a bit harsh. If you've given him an average 6, I think that's fine. If you've given him a 7, probably a little bit generous, but I can see why you've done it. So, yeah, I don't think he was absolutely dreadful at all. McTominay for me, 4. I really don't think he was very good. When you're a holding midfielder for Manchester United and you barely notice them, and when you're getting noticed because of, bad decisions and not picking up runners, I don't think he was very good tonight. And I'm not even going to say anything else. I just don't think he was very good. And I don't know why he's starting in that position when Donny played there against Watford and was brilliant. For me, it should have been Donny and Fred or Donny and Matic. He's played another 90 minutes. He was awful against Watford. I don't think he was very good tonight. And I think if we keep picking him, we're going to keep struggling in games. So I would give him a 4, to be honest with you. Donny, for me, I'd probably give him a 5. You've got to be, I disagree with that. I disagree with that score from everybody. Look, this is not about agendas. This is not about certain players. This is about giving a fair score. I've given Tellez a 5. I couldn't give McTominay a 5 because I've given Tellez a 5 and he was better. Tellez was better than McTominay. But I would give Donny a 5. I think that he didn't really play particularly well. I think that Donny was put into the number 10 position, which became a graveyard shift because we were crap when Donny was on the pitch. And I think, if Donny stayed on, I think let me put it like this. If Bruno hadn't been brought on and Donny had stayed on and Rashford had come on, Emery still would have dropped deeper. We still would have scored that goal, and I think Donny would have done everything Bruno did. I think Donny would have played that pass to Sancho. I think Donny would have had the shot. I think Donny's just unlucky that he was the number 10 when we were playing crap defensive football, and then Bruno came on, and because Rashford came on, they went deeper, and there was more space for Bruno. And I thought Bruno played well when he came on, but Donny just wasn't in the game, and he couldn't get in the game. And so I felt sorry for Donny, because Donny should have played where McTominay played, and, he didn't. Sancho for me is an 8. I thought he was. I think probably a little bit generous for Sancho, giving him an 8. He was probably more of a 7. 7.5 is spot on by you lot, by the way. It wasn't scintillating, but it's his best performance in a United shirt. He played 90 minutes on the right wing. He got a goal. He nearly got another goal. And he deserves to get a little bit more than he probably got, and that's why I've given him an 8, because. That's the best we've seen of Sancho. That's the Sancho. It's not even the Sancho of Dortmund. He's nowhere near at that level yet. But it was glimpses of what he can be. That goal he nearly scored with the 1-2 with Bruno. The goal he did score from Bruno. And look, we've already spoken about this about Sancho. Sancho's not Rashford. Sancho's not Son. He's not a quick player that skips past players. Jadon Sancho needs give and go. Sancho is a possession-based footballer, a give-and-go footballer. Jadon Sancho gives it to Bruno, gets it back, nearly scores. Jadon Sancho gets it from Bruno, he does score. Jadon Sancho needs to play with Bruno and Donny. If you put Sancho on the right-hand side and you put Bruno at 10 and Donny as the player in the pivot with Matic or Fred, you're going to see a really good Jadon Sancho because he's got options. He's got Donny beside him. He's got Bruno beside him. That's how you're going to get the best out of Sancho. You're not going to get the best out of Sancho by playing McTominay there because he doesn't know how to play that level of football. You need to have clever, intelligent, possession-based players around him, and that's why you need. That's why you get the best out of Jadon Sancho. I thought he played really well today. Martial, let's be honest, was a 5. I don't know why. I think Martial was probably a little bit like Donny. The game didn't suit him. Look, people don't like Martial, so they'll go 2. He was shit. He was this, that, and the other. But I actually think there's a better explanation. Martial just didn't get any of the ball. And Wan-Bissaka played better than Tellez, and we just didn't get the ball to Martial like we didn't get the ball to Ronaldo, and we didn't get the ball to Donny. Sancho didn't get a lot of the ball, but when he did get the ball, he showed glimpses. Martial just looked very rusty, so I wouldn't give him any more than a 5, to be honest. You know what though, Ronaldo for me, I'll probably give him a generous 7. Yeah, we've all done it. If we draw that game and Ronaldo doesn't score, I'd probably give him a 4. It's not his fault. Up until the goal, I didn't think Ronaldo would come out the dressing room for the second half. He just wasn't in the game. Lots of effort, lots of running, got frustrated at times, he thought he was Harry Kane. He was coming into the CDM position in the first half, but graveyard shift. Nothing going on. Absolutely nothing going on for him. And then he gets a goal. He has a part to play in the second goal, and he pulls out a 7 out of 10. And this is just Ronaldo this season. He is playing in moments. Playing for Man United as a number 9, you've got to grab that minute. You've got to grab that moment, because it's not like playing for Man City where it's chance after chance after chance. At Man United, you are running around for 87 minutes with nothing going on, and then for 3 minutes you might get something, and that's what he's doing. We've seen it against Atalanta twice. We've seen it against Villareal twice. It's just those Ronaldo moments. And I tell you what, if Villareal had Ronaldo, they'd have beat us tonight. It was simple. It's really that simple. And I know David De Gea is my man of the match, but if Villarreal had a cutting edge and we didn't, we don't win that game. And that makes it sound simplistic, but really, we were crap and we had Ronaldo. They were good and didn't have a finisher. And that's what it comes down to. And that's why the value of Ronaldo is what it is. Because he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and he's one of the best. He probably is the best match winner in world football. Messi's. I'm not getting the Messi-Ronaldo debate, but Ronaldo as a match winner is just unbelievable. It's being reported that United are focusing on getting an interim. Are they serious? Says Oz. And if Bay puts in this performance like Lindelof did today, people would call it world class. When Lindelof does, it's just average, popular contest. Well, no, SJ. I mean, you've just expressed an opinion, mate. I mean, I don't think. I mean, look, Bay against Atalanta, that was a good performance, and it was visibly a good performance because they bombarded us, and Sabata's a good striker. I don't feel that Lindelof was having... I disagree with you on that. I think you're talking out your arse. I mean, what are you talking about? Lindelof was okay. I can't think of Lindelof playing like Bay did against Atalanta. It was an okay performance. I mean, no one's saying he played bad, but I don't agree with you that he was amazing. It's so frustrating, owners who try and get away with whatever they can. We win and I just get nervous we might keep Carrick. Yeah, Christian, I think that's what all United fans are thinking, because we watch football, they don't. They look at a result and go, oh, this could be another Ollie. Let's have a look. Bruno, for me, probably a 6.5 for Bruno. So you've got it right. I can't do 0.5. Yeah, I thought Bruno came on and did well. I mean, to be honest with you, let me be honest with you. Dropping Bruno was probably a good idea, because he would not have... If Bruno had played in that Donny role, he would have played like Donny and got a 5 out of 10. So dropping Bruno and him coming on, actually, he came on focused. This is why dropping... And I will applaud Carrick for this. dropping Bruno and Rashford was not a bad idea. They've not been playing very well. They both came on and made a difference, and they looked hungry to make a difference. The problem is they won't do it with McTominay and Maguire, and they deserve to be dropped more than anybody. So I never had a problem with Bruno being dropped. I love Bruno. I think he's a great player. But dropping Bruno is not a problem. And he responded to being dropped. He came on and he was hungry. But you've got to drop McTominay and Maguire. Like, they deserve to be dropped. And maybe they will spark into better performances. But, you know, if you're Scott McTominay, you're playing every game. You know, he's subbed off against Watford because he's crap. And then he starts today. Like, where is the motivation for that player to go, oh, it was absolutely rubbish, and I'm not playing. I've got to do better. Maguire, sent off at the weekend. Starts and plays 90 minutes today. Now, we've won the game. It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, dropping Bruno worked. Maybe try it with some of the other players that are not playing well. Because it needs to happen. Mata got 10 seconds. I don't think he's made it. I don't think Mata's made it. Mark, he has made it. He does make it. Okay. Rashford, probably a 6 for me. Yeah, I don't think Rashford did a lot when he came on. I think he changed the game because of his pace. I think Villareal shit themselves, but I think he looked a little bit rusty. And, you know, there was a great chance for him to square it across. And again, what we need is a new coach and a new coaching setup to make Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood get their head up, because they never get their head up. It's always, I'm in the box, I'm going to get a shot off. And it's, you know, there's so many times where if they put their head up, square it, you've got an assist. Matic, barely knew you. And Mata, it's an 8 for me. It was brilliant. The way he ran onto the pitch for 10 seconds was magnificent. Oh, forgot about this. This is a novelty then. So what are we going to give Carrick? I'm not going to do this. What are you going to do? Do we be generous or do we be real? I mean, for 70 minutes we were crap. I agreed with him dropping Bruno and Rashford, but I disagree with McFred. And I thought we were lucky because of De Gea. I thought the substitutions of Bruno and Rashford did change the game, but I think that's because Emery went deep and he probably shouldn't have done. I think a 6 is generous. I think a 5 is real. I'm gonna give him a 6. I'm gonna give him a 6. 5.2. Yeah, it's somewhere between 5 and 6. You know, it was a bit of a paper in the cracks performance, but ultimately it was a win. I think that's what matters. Right, so let's submit the vote and see who got man of the match. David De Gea with 52%. I'm surprised. No, he did deserve it, but I thought the Sancho vote might have got it for him. Yeah, the fact that David De Gea is man of the match is why some people are going, we were a little bit lucky tonight. I'm very happy that we were lucky. Let's get a proper coach in at the club. 52% of the vote for David De Gea, and 29% of the vote for Jadon Sancho, and then various others. So fair enough. I think David De Gea deserved man of the match. It's sometimes difficult to remember because you win the game 2-0 late on, but he made some fantastic saves, and yeah, well done to him. In relation to the managerial situation, let me just bring you up to date with what's going on with that. Paul Scholes just said the first 30 minutes felt like a 0-0 battering. Man United might not thank me, but get the contract. Yeah, okay, that's Jamie Carragher. I'm just seeing if there's anything about the managerial. Manchester United feel an experienced interim manager likely working alongside current coaches will bring stability and the space to have a comprehensive look at the managerial situation. And yeah, I mean, look, you know, I really do think that there needs to be a movement against the Glazers and Ed Woodward. I do. I don't know what sort of movement there is. I'm not saying protests or anything like that, but I do think there needs to be one, because they are going to potentially fuck us up over the next few months. You cannot bring an experienced coach in to work with those coaches. The big hint is the coaches ain't good enough. Like, you know, I've said it so many times before. If you've got a Formula One team that work really well together, and you've got a bloody, you know, Halford's mechanic, you know, think about Formula One, right? When they're changing the tyres, that's a team, isn't it, right? And you employ a load of Halford quick fit fitters, right? but you want that Formula 1 team to come and do it. And instead of getting the Formula 1 team, you get the guy who blows the whistle. Well, that's the manager. We need a whole team. We cannot do it. You cannot just bring a manager in and go, yeah, you know, you be the manager, but we're keeping the same coaches. They're fucking shit. They're rubbish, those coaches. Scholes's right. They're a bloody embarrassment that they're still there. They're rubbish. And a new manager on his own cannot right those wrongs. But this is Woodward and the Glazers for you. Absolute bunch of clueless people who think it's all about the manager. It's about the coaching. You sacked the wrong people first. You know, you'd have been better off sacking the coaching staff and keeping Ollie than doing it the other way around. They're just going to change the head but keep the body. And that's going to mess us up big time. Anyway, let's see what they've got to say on the forum. I'll push you over to there. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Fan forum's on now. We'll push you over to there and you can join the chat. See you over there.